The magic of the microphone. The magic of the microphone. The magic of the microphone. Good evening, one and all. The Sennheiser E965 large diaphragm vocal condenser microphone. I've been looking for an addition to my favourite mic, which has been the Bayer M88 for some time. I was looking for a bit more clarity for certain situations. So I was looking at condensers. I think the first one I got was the Neumann KMS 105, done a review on that. Doesn't suit my voice. The Earthworks does, SR40V. This was before the Earthworks. Wide frequency response, large diaphragm, rather like a studio condenser. Looked promising. So I went for it. Here it is, comes in its box. Very nice box, actually. I was surprised I managed to find it. In the box, let's give a music receipt, a manual. Can't remember what's in there, but the usual stuff, I'm sure, in various languages. Yes, loads of languages. Gig bag with it. The microphone and a clip with the Sennheiser logo in it. But I wonder if it's K&M. I don't know. Doesn't matter. The microphone is a little bit unusual in that it has switchable polar patterns inside the grill, which we'll see in detail later. It also has a low frequency roll-off, and it has a pad to reduce its sensitivity if it's in very loud environments. All of those with switches underneath. What the manufacturers say. If I can read, I'm running out of ink. Live sound on the highest level. The advantages of high-end studio and stage microphones. Feedback rejection. Large diaphragm microphone has been developed for professional stage use. The E965 responds extremely quickly and transmits even the finest nuances in impressive detail. This top model leaves no wishes unanswered in terms of sound, ruggedness, and handling. Features: large diaphragm true condenser microphone, uniquely forceful high resolution sound. Uniquely forceful. Wonder what that means. High definition for the finest nuances, rich in detail. Switchable pickup pattern, cardioid, supercardioid. Low cut and pre-attenuation options. Excellent handling noise. Pop and wind protection. Extremely rugged metal housing. Let's have a look, shall we? But not just yet. The frequency graph. There's two of them which should appear down the bottom. One for cardioid, one for supercardioid. Notice, I don't know what dBV is. Decibel volts? Decibel value? Not sure. I wish these things were standardized. And I noticed that their center line seems to be at -3 dBV rather than 0. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. It'd be nice if everything was the same. But anyway, it doesn't, to my eyes, show the close miking frequency because the bass falls off. And I can tell in this mic that when you bring it closer, it doesn't. Often they show different lines towards other end view, different lines for the bass, depending on how close it is to source. Looking at it then, much the same. As you can see, the supercardioid has a broader treble lift. Doesn't go quite so high. The cardioid, when you got it in that setting, much the same up to about 5K, and then its peak starts there. So the peak starts peaking at about 10k and then falling off. Whereas if you have it in supercardioid, it's there by about 3 kilohertz and is lifted and is flat through to 10 kilohertz, and not quite so high at the 10 kilohertz. Whether you'd hear any of that, I don't know. We'll switch between them. I haven't noticed much difference. I thought I did, but then I realized I was fooling myself, which is always an issue with the kind of things we're doing here. Anyway, we'll see what it sounds like in a mo. Here it is from a distance. Very nicely finished. Metal again, a little bit grippy. Don't know why, don't know what they've coated in, but whatever it is, it works well. A little bit grippy, but it doesn't feel rubbery or spongy or problematic in any way. It's a weighty microphone, it's quite a large microphone. We'll do the close-ups later. Yeah, I noticed the weight when I do that. Oh, bear in mind with these things, of course, you're going to have a cable, and that balances the mic. So doing it like this, it feels a little bit as if it might fly off that way, but of course with the cable, the weight of the cable, it balances up. So it feels, yeah, you know where it is. Remember, it's quite a long grill. If you're used to an SM58 or something, there's an extra bit there, it's longer. And a clip. Works well enough. You can hear there's a kind of almost as if there's a fine, there is, very fine ribbing. It's not noticeable at all, very, very fine, but just enough to give it good grip. Very well done, that. My what's turning to be my usual beef is the case for a microphone like this. It's quite thin. Again, not much room to get the mic in. It's okay on the way out because you've got your hand in there spreading the bag a bit, makes it shorter, and there's that usual sudden pop out. I mean, I don't know. So again, I end up using a pencil case. Softer, still quite a tight fit because it's a big mic. I think a bit more padding, and getting it out because it's a bit springier is much easier. There's not that sudden thing where you think, particularly a weighty mic, top heavy, without the cable. I'm not going to say Italian leather case again, but I'd like something. I've got the washing machine going on here, so forgive the noises, and my neighbours are doing something upstairs, and I'm sure the cat will start chewing things in a minute, so please excuse all that. Very nice. Kind of grey, dark grey charcoal with a hint of blue, particularly on the grill there. Very nice. Good threads, short, with a rubber washer as you heard there. Quite a thick pad of foam in the top, thinner foam round the edge. Sorry. And then something else round there, which I think might be, don't want to press it too hard, I don't know what it is. It might be a mesh. So thick foam at the top, thinner foam around the sides, and something else. Oops, something else around there. There's the 1-inch diaphragm. Wow. Little bit of suspension there. I suspect there's more inside because it doesn't move that well. Don't know if you can see. Round here we have the switch for the 10 dB. There's a switch for low end cut. There's a switch for cardioid or supercardioid. Get your fingers in there. We'll demonstrate that later with the sound. That's the rubber. No need to over tighten. Feels good. Compared to an SM58, quite a bit larger, as you can see. Feels noticeably heavier to me. Compared to the Earthworks. Similar sort of size, maybe a little larger. Difficult to say. Roughly the same. No complaints whatsoever with the build. I think it's an elegant looking mic. Quite big, quite imposing. Weight and looks, but very nice. Here I am on the road, and let's see what I notice when I immediately move over to the Sennheiser. I'm on the Sennheiser. The Owl and the Pussycat Went to Sea. The first thing I notice is this may be what they meant by forceful. There's a I noticed that low mid seems to be a little bit forward in a nice way, but it adds a little bit of something already. Top end I can hear. The other thing I noticed is that it's not it's very smooth at the top there. It sounds extended. This mic kind of sounds like a dynamic, but with more clarity, which is actually what I was hoping for. But it's got a little bit of that dynamic feel, maybe from the 1-inch diaphragm, adding a little bit of smearing, if not smearing exactly, but a little bit of what's it we use on cameras? Soft focus, just a touch of soft focus, but still being able to see through the soft focus and see all your pimples. So a little bit like that. Pops, S's, and breath. The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money, wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The Owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar, "Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are." When I listen back, I might notice, but I didn't notice any issues there at all. Okay, let's bring it closer. Sorry if it overloads. The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money, plenty, wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The Owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar, "Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are." I'm pretty impressed with that. That, I think, is a foam thing. But you've got to have something. You can't just have the diaphragm, can you? So, as I say, I think I prefer mesh. But, don't know. Very good. Proximity, polarity, and handling. Going to do polarity last because there's switches inside and I'm going to fiddle about. So we'll do the proximity. There it is away. What shall we use? Said the duck to the kangaroo. Good gracious, how you hop over the land and water too, as if you never would stop, as if you never would stop, as if you never would stop. Got to watch the breath a bit when you're that close, of course. As if you never would stop, but bring it just round to the side a little bit, not on your cheek because that won't do any good, but just at the edge of the mouth there reduces that. As if you never would stop. My life is a bore in this nasty pond and I long to go out in the world beyond. I wish I could hop like you, said the duck to the kangaroo, 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 said the duck to the kangaroo. Nicely controlled proximity. You need to know what you're doing. It's no good holding it right up to your mouth and shouting. You're going to get lots of bluster and boo. Very, very nicely done. Handling noise. Sounds pretty good to me. Let me compare it to the Master. Put them both on. I would say kind of the same, but a different quality. I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but the Earthworks has got, I can hear some really low stuff, which would come through a full range PA. So you might want to be a bit careful with that. Quiet higher up. This one, its sound is a little bit higher up. So yeah, it's going to come through more, but both of them very well controlled, very well controlled. Now I'm going to do something, and I've decided to try it without switching the mic off in between. I don't know if this is a bad idea. It means there will be some pops. I have done it before, and they weren't. Can't find my spyglass. They weren't overly. They weren't disastrous. So I'm just thinking I may as well do it live. And there will be a few pops and noises as I unscrew the thing and all the rest of it. But I'm going to fiddle about with the polarity switch first. When I go between the polarity, I'll cut out the bit of me assembling the mic again. I don't want to leave the top off when I do the polarity because I don't want moisture and air and spit in the right up against the diaphragm. Condensers don't like that. And I don't want to damage it and blah, blah, blah. So it'll be a bit of fiddling around. Actually, no. So let's do the easy ones. 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 Let's do. It's a little bit more open without this. Can't use it on stage without it. We could. Wouldn't advise it. But it's a little bit more open without this. I can hear up there the breath parts. And I think they balance up the slight forward thing that it had. Very interesting. But what can you do? Coming up then is I hope it's not a bad idea. Coming up then is a 10 dB pad. That's with a 10 dB pad, so you can hear what it does. It cuts the sound level. So you want it, if it's too loud, you can just do that. I'm going to put it back. Here comes a pop. Oh, only pops in one direction. There we are. So that's back to flat. This is flat as far as the bass is concerned. I'm going to move the switch. This is it with the switch removed. This is it with the switch removed, coming in for a bit of proximity, trying not to spit on my diaphragm or breathe on it too much. This is it with the switch removed. This is it with the switch back in. You can hear that maybe if you've got headphones. Seems to be nicely done as well. So if having a problem, might use that. You've got that on the desk anyway, so I'm not quite sure. Well, okay, I'm not going to put the top back on. I'm going to risk it. So this is set at cardioid. There we are, fully on axis. There we are. Oh, hear the pops. Lord. Here we are, fully on axis. Here we are, fully on axis. Here we are, coming round to the side. Here we are at the side. Good rejection, can you hear? Here we are round to the back. Here we are round to the back. Very good rejection there as well. From the back, this is cardioid. 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 I like it without the screen. Pop coming up perhaps. Not much, just my fingernail. This is supercardioid. 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 This is, that breath noise is me. This is supercardioid. 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 This is super. More noise. Can you hear what a rapper's hold does? Can you hear the washing machine in the background spinning? And when I put a rapper's hold, so it does that to your voice as well. Can you hear that? What it does to my voice, take it away. It does that. So if you like that sound, then do it. If you don't, then don't. Well, I couldn't hear too much difference between those. I don't know what I've left it on. Maybe on the edge environment when it's feeding back, you might notice a difference and it might be useful. But there we go. What do we have next? Okay, going to try a few notes on it, see what I notice. Being quite high up here, being quite high, being quite high up here, being quite high, being quite high. It has got a bit of push there. Being quite high up there, oh, being hey. Watch the breath there. Let's try the Earthworks. being quite high up there, being quite high, being quite high up there. All that area I can hear more of. A little bit more old school, the Sennheiser. This one is like a Ferrari, huh? Oops. Being quite high up there, being quite high, being quite high up there, being quite high. Of course. Doing something in the lower end? Doing something in the lower end. Doing something in the doing something in the lower end. Doing something in the lower end. Doing something down there. Doing something the lower end. Doing something down there. Earthworks doing something down there, doing something down there, doing something down there, doing down there, doing something. Fantastic. SM58 doing something down there, doing something down there, doing something down there, doing. So the low notes are all breath on the SM58. Going to compare just these two. They're both on at the minute. It's not a very good idea, is it? Yeah. Which one? This is the Earthworks then. Again, foam, I think. Be a little bit careful. Said the duck to the kangaroo, how charmingly sweet you hop. Said the duck to the kangaroo, how charmingly sweet you hop. Smoother, isn't it? Said the duck to the kangaroo, how charmingly sweet you hop. The Earthworks has got all that other stuff in there that I can hear right through. And when I do the low note, I can feel the shake. This one smoothed out a bit, but they're not a million miles apart. Don't know which one I'm on now. Obviously, the Sennheiser. This is the Sennheiser, huh? This is the Sennheiser, huh? This is the Sennheiser, huh? This is the Sennheiser. This is not the Sennheiser, huh? This is not the Sennheiser, huh? Clearer. This is not the Sennheiser, huh? This is not the Sennheiser. This is the Sennheiser, huh? This is the Sennheiser. Checking the EQ. This is the Sennheiser, huh? This is the Sennheiser. Kind of a softer, old school, not old school, old school studio alternative, maybe. Kind of an old school studio mic sound. It's growing on me. Speed, clarity and extension. We've done it really. Speed, clarity and extension. It's got the extension. The low end extension is a little bit old school, a little bit warm. Or maybe the upper parts aren't quite as revealed as the Earthworks, but it's got the extension if you need it. Bring it in there. Quite easy to control as well. Quite easy. The upper end extension sounds like it's got it as far as my ears go and these headphones go and all the rest of it. Very smooth and natural sounding to me. Speed, 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 speed. Fast enough. I don't think as fast as the Earthworks, but then it's got a much smaller diaphragm. It's going to accelerate in no time. It's got a larger diaphragm, so it seems to me adds a little bit of that thing there. Interesting also that I liked it without, I might experiment with that without damaging it. I liked it without the grill on, just a little bit more open. So I do wonder about having layers of mesh rather than the foam again. Speed, clarity and extension. That's it. It's got them to me. It's got them to me. It's not hard. It's musical. That's the biggie. If they're going to change your voice, then it needs to be musical. Very nicely made. I think it sits very nicely for me between a Bayer M88, which is an expensive top-of-the-range dynamic, but I think it was built in the 60s and much the same now. A few little changes. And the Earthworks, which is super fast, everything. And this is of the same kind of school to me. So it's a bit like maybe an old school Earthworks or a slightly newer school Shure SM58. Very nicely made. I'm liking it more and more. Possible improvements. I hope the switches inside are reliable. I don't need them. Who knows? In 10 years' time, if that was, you obviously don't want dirt and moisture and stuff in the contact. I'm sure that it's very well built, I'm sure. So yeah, it's nice to have them, I guess. I haven't come across a reason for having them myself, but they're there. I'd like to hear it, as I say, with mesh instead of the foam. I'd like to hear what that does to the sound. And as you know, I can't see it. I'll put it somewhere. I'll put it away. Give me a nice gig bag, please, that fits easily and that I feel wears nicely. I keep on about leather. Oh, I don't know, maybe it's not PC to have leather anymore, I don't know. But I'm just thinking something that's really nice. When I get the thing out, I feel, or maybe I'm a bit nervous or whatever, and I get my mic out and I say, yes. And when I pull it out, it comes out very easily and it's nicely padded. And I think, yes, okay, we're going to go and do some business. You understand? Aye. Something I noticed when fiddling around with the mics is that the Sennheiser seems to have a hum. I'm on the road at the moment. I've got this gain up very high. I'm going to leave it on the desk here. So when I switch it on, you'll hear the fan noise of the laptop. But you'll also hear a kind of tone. I've used different cables, different channels, and it follows the mic. So I'm suspecting it's self noise from the mic. I've moved it around. It doesn't seem to be making any difference to any angle, and it's picking up hum. So I'm going to switch it on. I'm going to handle it as well, so you can hear get an idea of the level of that hum beneath the handling noise. I haven't noticed it on gigs. I haven't noticed it before. It was only now moving things around. But I mention it, and I'll see what Sennheiser have to say. Could be this sample. Could be something I'm doing. Can't think what. Maybe it's the mic itself. It's not an issue live. If you're using it in a studio, it may be. Anyway, here we go. So the road going off. That frequency, if you can hear it, below the handling noise. I will report back in due course. Maybe you're poor, maybe you have wealth, maybe in demand or maybe on the shelf. Whatever your situation, there's one thing you should do. Reject all automation. Let me work on you, Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. I like to manually manipulate you. Guaranteed to make you smile smooth round there, no? Hey, call me Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. Yeah. They call me Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. To manually manipulate you. Guaranteed to make you smile. Oh, I like to manually manipulate you. Guaranteed to make you smile. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. La tentadora elegante.